give us nothing.
Well, hello people to the internet, my name is Kevin and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so for today's video, I'm really excited about because this is one I just had the idea to do because I have been watching Love Island this current season. It's almost over, but of course I have been watching it and been obsessed. Davide and Ekin-Su for the win, we stan. But I was just like, oh my god, I know a couple of ex-Love Islanders who have all just released books very recently this year. And I was like, what if I did a video where I read ex-Love Islander books and just give you guys my thoughts and see what they're like. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I have 3 books from 3 Love Island contestants and I'm gonna read the 3 of their books and see what we think. Now before we even get into this, I do want it to be known that I am a huge reality TV fan. I love Love Island. It's a show that I watch every year. I'm literally obsessed with it and I love it so much. And in particular, season 5 is my favorite season of Love Island. I loved literally every contestant on it. Obviously there was a couple that I didn't like here and there, but I loved the majority of them. Like Maura, such an icon. And then like obviously we got Molly-Mae, we have Amber, Yewande, all of them. And that's the particular season we're focusing on for this video because they're the 3 books I have chosen from 3 Islanders that were from season 5 of Love Island. So the 3 books that I'm going to be reading in this vlog are Becoming Molly-Mae by Molly-Mae, Reclaiming by Yewande Bila, and also Until I Met You by Amber Rose Gill. So those are the 3 books that I want to read by those 3 ex-Love Islanders. Looking forward to it. However, I have a sneaky suspicion that maybe 1 or 2 of them might have ghostwriters involved. So we'll see, once again, as I said, how that goes. So yeah, the first book that I think I'm going to read is Becoming Molly-Mae by Molly-Mae. And this I feel like is just a biography book from Molly-Mae, just talking about her life and how she became the influencer that she is today. I want to say that it's giving girl boss book, and I'm just gonna say it that I actually am a fan of Molly-Mae. I follow her on Instagram, I've watched her YouTube videos, I quite like Molly-Mae. I know that there's a lot of stuff online, lots of hatred towards her and everything, but I just want to say plain and simple, I do like Molly-Mae. So I'm gonna read this one first. I have gotten this on audiobook because it is narrated by Molly-Mae, and I think it's only like 5 hours long as an audiobook. I always listen at 2 times speed, so it's only gonna take about 2.5 hours to read it, so I will fly through this one. And then the next one that I'm going to read is Reclaiming by Yewande Bila. Now, this is one in particular that I think is probably going to be my favorite of the 3. Just initially, that's like my gut feeling and just basing it off what I know it follows. And I'm actually going to read the synopsis of this one for you just because you can understand what this one's about. And also a lot of people didn't even realize that Yewande had come out with a book, which is really sad. Like I wish she was getting a lot more like press about it and a lot like media attention about it. So the synopsis for this is, I am more than enough and I am perfect with all of my imperfections. In 2021, Yewande Bila wrote a soaring viral essay on the debilitating effects of having your name constantly mispronounced or changed. From the incredible response to this essay, it was clear that there are still so many conversations to be had around the way that we as a society respond to each other and the direct effect it is having on our sense of self. Reclaiming consists of interlinked essays covering a wide breadth of topics from struggling with your body image and mental health to navigating social media and dating apps without damaging your self-esteem. Each essay covers a different topic, affirming that maintaining your sense of self in a world that is not supportive of you is difficult, but not impossible. Nuanced, distinctly sharp, and full of wit, Reclaiming holds a mirror up to us all and encourages us to like what we see. Like, just based off of that, I think it sounds amazing. And instantly, you can just tell that Yewande is clearly writing about something that she's passionate about, and that's why I think this one is the one I'm most excited to read. And then the final one, of course, is Until I Met You by Amber Rose Gill, and this one is a romance book, which I'm here for. We all know I love romance books, or if you're new to my channel, hello. I love to read romance books. So I'm really excited to read this one as well. I think like this is probably my second one that I'm most excited to read. So very interested to see how this one goes and see how like Amber can write romance books. But once again, I feel like there's probably gonna be a ghostwriter involved, but we'll see. And this one, I'm gonna give you the synopsis as well. So this says, can a tropical escape lead to a perfect romance? It was meant to be the holiday of a lifetime, a chance to extend her travel blog, her best friend's wedding, and perhaps, if her friends were correct, her own proposal. Until Samantha found herself on her way to Tobago, alone. and single. She needed to rest. She didn't need to come face to face with the most unhelpful man on the island. Fed up with his corporate job after years in New York, Roman has started Oh, wait, I read that very wrong. Fed up with his corporate job after years in New York, Roman was starting again in Tobago. The last thing he needed was a distraction, especially a free-spirited travel blogger. But something about Samantha inspired a protective instinct in Roman. As Samantha and Roman spend more time together under the tropical sun, lines between friendship begin to blur until secrets put everything they thought they had found in jeopardy. And it will take every inch of Samantha's strength to fight for what she truly wants. So it's giving holiday romance, friends to lovers, just off the synopsis. And yeah, I'm not going to have my expectations too high with this one. I'm just going to go into it and have an open mind and just see if it's gonna be good. So yeah, without further ado, I just think it's time that I pull you for a chat and we go talk about some books. I'll give you some book recommendations. I let you know where my head's at with these books. You can tell me where your head's at, and like, I think we can just vibe, we can see how it goes. Like, it's still early days. And yeah, I just think we're really looking forward to like a very exciting time. So come along guys, let's get this show started. Okay guys, so I have about an hour and 24 minutes left of the audiobook. So I want to say I'm about halfway through Becoming Molly-Mae by Molly-Mae. And it's a little bit like, yes queen, give us nothing. I don't know if I'm feeling like that because, like I said, I do like Molly-Mae. I follow her, I watch her YouTube videos. So like, maybe because I just know so much about her as it is. So like, I'm kind of just like, there's nothing new here. Maybe that's just why I'm like, oh, pop off, give me nothing. There's also moments as well where it has like little cringy moments. There was a moment I just read where she was literally like, my advice for if you want a relationship is don't look for it. I, as a very single 26-year-old man who is very, very single, hate when people say, oh my god, if you want a relationship, just stop looking for it. Like, it will find you. I am waiting for it to find me. I absolutely hate when people say that. So I kind of just read that and I was like, ugh, great, yeah. Cool. And then like the rest of the book, there's a lot of repetition in terms of the writing style, and I don't actually think this is ghost written. I genuinely think that maybe Molly wrote this herself. The repetition part of it is that there's a lot of from a very young age, growing up from a very young age. When I was a young age, I did like, it's just very repeated. I'm just like, someone could have used with a thesaurus. They're just me being like very nitty picky, but overall like I am not hating it. I'm not obsessed with it either. I'm just kind of like, it's fine. It is really just like about her life, her growing up, like when she was a kid, like her family stuff. And she did actually talk about Love Island when she was in the villa for a little bit. And I didn't actually expect her to talk about it at all in the book, because if you know Molly-Mae, since she's come out of Love Island, she doesn't really talk about Love Island at all. She's kind of gone back into like influencer mode. I was very shocked that she even talked about it in the book. And she literally says that like, I'm very thankful for Love Island. It helped me grow my like social media, and I definitely wouldn't be at where I am today without it. I really enjoyed her finally saying that. I also don't know if I really enjoy reading about a book like very influencery, where she's like giving all of these tips about social media and stuff, and I feel like maybe if you just know absolutely nothing about social media, about Instagram, about YouTube, about anything, this could be helpful for you if you want to get into that world. Reading about this kind of stuff is kind of tedious to me, and I don't know if I'm enjoying it, but luckily it's only like a little small, like tiny bit of the book, so it's fine. I'm gonna go read the rest of it. I'll probably come back once I finished it and I'll give you guys my final rating. Okay guys, so I have just finished reading Becoming Molly-Mae by Molly-Mae. I think I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. As I've already said, personally I do like Molly-Mae. I know she's said and done things that I don't agree with here and there, but overall as a whole I do like her, so I think that that also adds to why I would like the book a bit more than maybe someone else who doesn't like her. I do think there is some issues with the book, like I've already mentioned. I really think that this book could have really like benefited heavily from a lot more strong editing, because there's just a lot of repetition and it just looks like mediocre writing in that sense, like just constantly repeating yourself. One thing that kept happening throughout the book is that she would say something and then she'd say, I know it's cliche. Like she would say it constantly and she'd be like, I know it's cliche, like work for your dreams. I know it's cliche if you want a boyfriend, if you want to be in a relationship, just wait for it to come to you. Like she would constantly say, I know it's cliche. That's just very nitty picky things, but just in terms of writing style, that could have just improved at just making those simple little tweaks and everything and just changing it. One other thing that I want to mention before I finish this section and I move on to the next book is that there is one part of this that I actually really want to commend Molly for, is that there is a section in here where she talks about beauty online and stuff like that. So she's talking about her beauty procedures that she's had done, so like her getting her lip fillers and her jaw filler, and she was talking about how like she saw it online first and then she thought that that's what she needed to do. She was influenced by other people that she thought she needed to get it, and then she got it, she liked how it looked, but then she would just take it too far and she got more, and then like it just ruined her face and everything, and then she ended up getting it dissolved. All stuff I already knew because I'd seen articles about it when she got them dissolved, like it was all over social media and stuff. The way it's written in the book, I really like how it's tackled, because she's really saying like how you should really put your research into all of these different things. You need to be very careful with what you're doing, because sometimes you might just be getting like 0.5 mil of it, like a filler or something into you, and you don't think it's going to have any long-term effects. It could, you don't know. Make sure you do your research about it. And also she was really like emphasizing like the importance of just looking after your health, because last year or so I think we found out that she had endometriosis, and also that she had like a mole that she had to get like surgery on to be removed. These are all things that I think are actually very important that she's talking about in the book. And the thing is, like at the end of the day, whether you like Molly-Mae or not, that's your own thing. If you don't like her, you don't like her. If you do like her, you like her, great. But at the end of the day, she is influencing people. Like there is people that look up to her as a role model and like are inspired by her. So her talking about these things in her book and emphasizing the importance of making sure you do your research, making sure you're looking after yourself in terms of health, checking yourself, making sure you go to the hospital when you think something's wrong with your body. All of these different things, that's extremely important, because there could be a 16-year-old girl, boy, person, anyone out there who reads this book and maybe they had it in their head that they were considering getting like lip filler or something. They read her book, they read about her experience, and then it will make them maybe think about it like, you know what, maybe I should put a bit more research into this. And at the end of the day, if that's what she can achieve by just talking about that in her book, that's pretty amazing. I had to like really commend that part, because I thought that was actually really like great that she spoke about that, because it's a very important thing. Really enjoyed the book overall. I think like 3 stars. It wasn't anything spectacular, wasn't anything awful either. Like there's parts in the books as well where she was saying things I just wasn't really agreeing on and stuff, but it was like what it is. So 3 stars for me. And also finally, before we move on to the next book, is I actually do think there was a bit of a ghostwriter in it, because during the audiobook we got to the acknowledgements and I was obviously listening to what she was saying in her acknowledgements, and she said, thanks Emma for helping me put my thoughts into words or something like that. And I was like, oh, so maybe she did have a ghostwriter. I enjoyed it nonetheless. 3 stars. We're moving on to the next book. Okay guys, so I've just gone into bed and I'm about to start reading Until I Met You by Amber Rose Gill. Literally on the very first page, it literally says, Until I Met You, Amber Rose Gill with Nadine Gonzalez. So she has a ghostwriter. I'm not gonna act like I'm shocked by that, but I'm just gonna go start the book.
Kevin is about to pull the viewers for a chat.
So I just really like wanted to pull you guys for like a chat and stuff, because like I just really wanted to give like my thoughts on like the book and stuff. I just wanted to say that I really just don't know if there's a connection there, because like obviously it's very early days, like anything could happen in the book, any character could walk in and just change my whole mindset and stuff. But at the moment, like it's just not vibes. I just feel like me and this book, like we're just really missing that spark. Like, you know when you just get that spark when like someone walks in, or like a book walks in and he's just your type on paper. Yes, I know it's literally paper, but you know what I mean? Like it just makes sense. And I just don't get that. I just feel like maybe we should just leave it as it is. I just don't really want to put all my eggs in one basket. Like, so I think that's just how I'm really feeling. Yeah, so I just really wanted to see what you guys were thinking. Okay, so I have obviously been reading Until I Met You, and yeah, as, I don't know, we need to name my Love Island character because he's not Kevin. I don't know who he is, but he's someone else. He obviously just told you that he's not vibing with it, and it is the truth. I'm not really vibing with it. It is, how do I put this like really nicely because I don't want to be rude. It's just very mediocre writing. It is very, very simplistic dialogue, and it kind of pains me a little bit to read. Also, like the love interest, the two characters, I feel like we're supposed to be shipping them already, and I don't because they're the most one-dimensional characters. I feel like they have no personality. Like any of these characters so far have no personality. There's just nothing to them. They're just like these people with a name on them and they speak every now and again. Like I don't feel a single thing towards them. And just the writing at times is a little bit tedious because it literally says at one point, because she's talking about, this isn't really a spoiler. They're talking about how to go to like Argyle Waterfalls to like go for a little swim, little like excursion moment, which is fun. And the main character Samantha just doesn't really want to go swimming, or she's like scared to like jump off like into the waterfall from like a little bit of a cliff or something. The guy character who's supposed to be like the love interest like picks her up and like says we can do it together and we'll jump in. And they do that, and then she's writing about it the next day because she has like this travel blog where she updates like things about her life. And then in the chapter, it literally says she didn't want to attribute her newfound bravery to Roman, aka talking about when she jumps into the cliff. And then it says that was the opposite of girl power. I really don't think I need to elaborate on why I find that tedious. There's another part where it was just like, you only live once and like all this stuff, and I'm like, not hashtag YOLO. It's just a little bit cringe. And then also I just realized, right, is this book kind of being like Love Island in a way that the main character has gone, obviously, she's gone to Tobago because her friend is getting married there. She's flown to Tobago without a date to the wedding because her boyfriend just dumped her like 2 days before she went on the flight to Tobago to get to the wedding and everything. And so now she has no date to the wedding. And there's like also this other single guy who's the love interest. He's also at the wedding. He's single, and now all of her friends are trying to set them up. She literally just broke up with this guy that she was dating, who she was dating for 2.5 years. And she dumped it, like they broke up 2 days before she comes on this holiday. And now all of her friends are trying to get her to set up with someone else. And it's just giving me how in Love Island, when like you get pied off in a couple or something, like your couple like splits up, they just tell you to move on and find the next bombshell or like get with the next person that comes in or like crack on with someone. And that's what it's giving me. It's just like, yeah, you broke up with that guy, but like you need to like start exploring new connections. Like that's what it's really giving me. And I'm just like, is this Love Island? Because also they're on an island, like they're in Tobago. I'm gonna go read more of it. But honestly guys, with this one, unless something drastically improves, I really don't think I'm gonna have much more thoughts to it. So this might be the extent of how much I talk about this book. Okay, I know I said that I didn't know if I would update you at all more because I didn't think I'd have more thoughts on this book. But honestly, I'm really starting to like cement the idea that this is based off being on Love Island, because there is a thing where they're going on this like day adventure to like Cotton Bay to go snorkeling for the day. And Roman, who is the guy love interest, can't go because apparently his old man has a health issue, so he can't go. And it literally says like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. And like Samantha wrapped her beach bag from one shoulder to the other. The idea of going off to the beach, of leaving Roman to deal with his issues on his own, didn't sit well with her. That wasn't how you treated a friend. She knows him like 2 days. How are they like besties? It's literally giving me how on Love Island they think they're best friends after 2 days because they're like, time moves so quickly in the villa, like you just bond really quickly. This isn't the villa though. This is real life and a book. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's the update. Okay, besties, spoiler inbound. So if you don't want to be spoiled for this book, just wait until the next clip I vlog, I guess. We're having the first kiss between Roman and Samantha, and this is the epitome of woo, give us nothing. Because it's literally, I'm gonna read it to you. It goes to another paragraph here, okay? So that's where it ends. So it's like a fade to black kind of thing. And this is the first kiss between this couple, aka the whole book is about them. And you're meaning to tell me that this is their first kiss. Okay, wait, for context. They're at this area where there's supposed to be like this enchanted water that if you kiss underneath the water, it means that you're gonna be together forever. And this other couple have just proposed, which they're in Tobago, because your other friend is getting married in a few days and you're now proposing days before their wedding.
questioning that choice, like, what are you doing stealing the thunder? The guy proposed at this water moment. She said yes, whatever, good for them. So then it says, maybe the waters were enchanted. There was no other way to explain the miracle unfolding. Roman raised her chin with a finger. She arched forward, wind in her hair, wanting, eager, open to whatever this was or turned out to be. Samantha circled her arms around his neck and drew him to her. While no one was watching, he kissed her, and she longingly kissed him back. And that's it! So you mean to tell me I'm reading a romance book and this is the first kiss between these characters and that's it? And now we're just going to move on to another paragraph. Okay guys, so I am 48% through the book now, almost halfway through, and I've had my first smut scene. I was honestly not sure what to expect from a smut scene for this book. I was expecting it to be a fade to black moment. It wasn't. Actually got to read a bit of it, but not in like any detail compared to other romance books that I've read, so once again I'm not surprised that I took that approach. The extent of the smut that I just read was that he like sucked a tit or whatever. Like literally. I know that's obviously the meme of this current season of Love Island, but that's literally the extent of what I read. Like they did have sex in the book. You didn't obviously like really read that. It kind of, you just know it happened. But the only thing I can detail you got was like he sucked a tit or whatever. You know? So yeah. I did actually have a moment where I thought it was kind of stunning because he does say things every now and again that I'm like, oh, hello there. But like it can't make up the book for me because I don't like this book. Okay, once again, minor spoilers for this book. Samantha is like doing this like rehearsal dinner speech or whatever, and she just said, the reason I'm only reading this out is to once again reinstate how I really just think that this is very self-insert Love Island vibes, because it says, I came here thinking I would be the odd one out. I joked this wedding was a couple's retreat, and that's far from the truth. Roman, I'm glad to be in a couple with you, even for this short time. She's really happy that she clearly coupled up with him for this recoupling. Like, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like I'm not. So guys, I have finished reading Until I Met You, and she has been dumped from the island. This was just not it for me. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5 stars. There are elements of it that I did like, so I don't want to give it 1 star. I think that's a bit too harsh. I think the plot and the storyline was a good idea. I just don't think it was executed very well, just because of like poor writing, poor romance writing, like elements, for example, not being able to write like a really stunning kiss scene and stuff. Like these are all elements that really add to a romance book, and if you're going to write a romance book, these are elements that you really do need to hone in on and that you need to make sure you write very well, because at the end of the day, it's a romance book, you need to give us the romance elements to it, you know what I mean? I think the characters as well needed a lot more fleshing out. They were very one-dimensional to me. They didn't really have any personalities. Honestly, if I didn't have names to go off, I wouldn't know which one was which. So yeah, 2 out of 5 stars, unfortunately. The things that I did like, and the reason I'm giving it the 2 stars is like, for example, I did say there was a couple of moments where he said something, the main guy, Roman, said something, and I was like, oh, that's kind of stunning, and it had like the elements that I know from other romance books that I've read. But then it would get like passed off with like cringiness afterwards, where it just ruined the moment of him saying that, and it's like, oh yeah, we're back to this now again, even though I just had that little stunning moment for like a split second. So for that, I'm going to give it 2 stars. Yes. We're gonna move on to Reclaiming by Yewande Bila. I'm really looking forward to reading this. This, as I said, out of the 3 books is the one I've been looking forward to reading the most. Okay guys, so it's obviously later in the day. First of all, the Love Island final was tonight. Spoiler alert inbound, I'm about to say who won, so if you haven't seen it yet, maybe mute me for about 10 seconds and then you should be good. So spoilers now. Ekin-Su and Davide won, and I'm so happy. That's who I wanted to win, so thank you, I'm so happy. But yeah, I have started reading Reclaiming by Yewande Bila. I actually ended up getting this on audiobook as well, and so far I am really enjoying it. The one thing straight away from this book is that I can tell there's just a lot of passion behind this book as opposed to the previous 2 that I've read. Like I can really feel, just from what I've read so far,
that Yewande really has put a lot of like her heart and soul into this book already. And I just really appreciate that. My favorite chapter slash essay has been Do I Even Need Therapy? This one in particular definitely should come with a trigger warning for eating disorders and bulimia and also depression. And I felt like in this chapter Yewande got extremely vulnerable and shared something that like I had no idea about that she went through. She opened up about it, discussed her issues with mental health, even with anxiety, all of these different things. I actually related a lot to her, but there is parts to it that I really connected to what she was talking about, and it actually has made me think a lot about things, about myself, and made me done a lot of reflection on my own self in terms of my own mental health journey. One quote in particular that she said that in that chapter that I really like, and it actually has stuck with me, is because she was talking about how there's a lot of stigma behind mental health, which I definitely had as well about myself. I've been working on that a lot, where like when it comes to like a therapy or something, I just believed that I could fix myself, that I could do it, I didn't need help, I didn't need to do that kind of stuff. And the quote she was talking about was like based on you saying like, oh, you can fix yourself. The quote was like, if you could do it on your own, you would have done it already. And that in particular has made me do a lot of reflection, because obviously I had that mindset that I was like, oh, I can fix myself, I'll pull myself out of this, I'll get myself back to my happy place. It's like, well, if you could do it, you would have done it already. For that alone, I really appreciate this book because it's made me think and made me really reflect on my own life. So I definitely think that that's obviously an amazing thing that the book has done. And then other parts of the book that I've really been enjoying is like the discussion on being black, colorism, racism in Ireland, and then also of course the main part of this book, like the importance of your name, because she was talking about like how her name was chosen by her parents for her because it had a lot of intention, a lot of meaning behind it, and how when people mispronounce it or they give a nickname or something like that, how this can be like extremely disrespectful and just be a form of microaggression, because it can stem from slaves who would be nicknamed or just referred to by numbers. So by you just not taking the time and just the respect to actually pronounce someone's name the correct way when they've told you how to pronounce it, it's just extremely disrespectful. And yeah, I just really enjoyed reading about that, and then how like Yewande went through this phase of like when how she felt so ashamed of her name when she was in school and like the teacher wouldn't be able to pronounce it correctly or something, and how she went on this journey then, like because her parents would explain what her name meant and how important it was and how strong her name was. And then growing up, she was able to reclaim the importance and the power that her name held. And from that now on, she doesn't allow anyone to say her name incorrectly, give her a nickname. She makes sure that they say it correctly. And it was just very empowering to me to read that journey of her going through that, and like obviously reclaiming that name and that power back to herself that she'd lost when she was younger, because she was like shamed on it just based on people being extremely ignorant. So yeah, I just have been really enjoying it so far. I am going to go to bed. I only have like an hour left of the book, but I think I'm just too tired and I really don't want to be like half asleep trying to focus on the book. Okay everyone, so it is the next morning and I've just finished reading Reclaiming by Yewande Biola, and I'm going to actually give it a 3.5 stars because I did really enjoy it. I think that Yewande's real intention from this book was obviously to put forward all of her experiences with racism, colorism, the dating life, being a black woman working in STEM. Like she talked about her experiences in all of those different areas and how she has been mistreated, but like how she's like reclaiming herself back and like trying to overcome those things to become even better and better. I really enjoyed it. I did think this book was really interesting. I think obviously Yewande's main intention is that by doing all of that, she wants us to like walk away from the book having learned something and question those things that she's been talking about and notice them in everyday life and call them out. And for that reason, that's why I think she did accomplish that. Definitely her message that she wanted to get across got across. Also, she did do a lot of talking about just loving yourself and like breaking habits that you need to stop doing in order to find love. And she used examples of her life and how she didn't love herself and how that hindered her in relationships. And I just, once again, it made me reflect on myself, and the fact that it made me do that as a book, I just think that's really powerful and really good. So overall, 3.5 stars. I really did enjoy it. And yeah, so yeah, that's just how I feel about that book, and that's it for reading all three of these books. And oh my god, I've got a text! Islanders, tonight there will be a recoupling in which you must decide which book is your favourite of the 3 that you read. Can all Islanders please gather around the bookshelf immediately? So, I would like to couple up with this book because the minute I started reading it, I really was captivated straight away. I definitely felt like it was teaching me a lot of different things. I definitely felt it was extremely educational. I felt I could feel that the author's intent and love has really gone into this book and that they really are passionate about it. So the book that I would like to recouple with is Reclaiming by Yewande Biola. So yeah, Yewande's book was definitely my favourite of the 3, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this reading vlog. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you would like to follow me over on Twitch, my username is just irishreader_. If you'd like to see extra content from me, I have a Patreon where I upload extra videos, live shows, we do a book club and we read a book every single month. We do a Netflix or Disney Plus parties, just extra content over there. Also, if you want to follow me on my social medias, they're all linked down below. Other than that, that's going to be it for this video, and I shall see you all next time in my next one. So goodbye, guys.